397115.
Greetings.
Yeah, greetings, Earthling.
Earthlings.
Yeah, I guess there are more than one of you. Well, maybe, I don't know. There might be just one listener.
There can be only one.
Our listener is the Highlander, which is awesome.
Congratulations on being the Highlander.
Yeah, we're
And
fine with that.
Make sure and invite us to the quickening.
I don't know. It looked terrifying in the movie.
I'm a big fan of lightning and swords.
Yeah, swords are cool.
Swords are cool.
S words for 400, Alex.
Your mother.
Anyway, we've literally just started and we're already off track. We haven't even gotten a full sentence into this.
Technically, you can consider greetings period to be an entire sentence. But anyway, welcome to this week's episode of Bigfoot for Breakfast, home of the mysterious and the macabre, where we sit in the Beat Lab every week, challenging conventional thought.
What is a beat lab?
The Beat Lab is a magical recording place for the
beats?
For making, ear candy.
Is that where the kids drop the beats? Do they drop the beats or do they spit the beats?
You drop the beats.
What else?
You drop the beats and spit it, yo.
Oh, I'm not that cool. I'm not going to try to do that. I briefly thought about it. I considered it. I'm just a regular, everyday, normal guy.
Your parents are really good people, mother effer.
My mom makes good spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, you're doing Lonely Island. Or no, it's not Lonely Island.
I don't know who that guy is that sings it, but that song is hilarious. Dropping the beats nonetheless.
Please don't sue us for copyright infringement. Please do us the great honor of subscribing to our show on your favorite podcast app. Give us a rating and a review, and share us with your friends.
And family.
And mailman.
Pet hamster.
Hamsters love podcasts.
They love Bigfoot for Breakfast podcasts.
Yeah.
Happiest hamster in the world.
Except don't blow his eardrums.
Hamster life hacks.
Hamsters have sensitive eardrums.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't either. We are your hosts, Samantha Carter
and Sarah Jones.
And before we start today's episode, I want to make sure to give you the disclaimer that the subject matter and theories presented in this episode do not necessarily reflect our own opinions or beliefs.
But they probably do.
Probably. But now that that's settled,
today's episode is going to address a widely circulated global conspiracy theory regarding a race of reptilian aliens that have reportedly infiltrated our world leaders.
Clintons.
Yeah. This would include influential political leaders, celebrities, financiers, and even some suspect, they're so sus. You get it? You know what I'm talking about? The royal family.
Stop being sus. QE2, you're so sus.
Speaking of things kids say nowadays, for those unfamiliar with the concept, the reptilian is supposedly a shape-shifting, blood-drinking humanoid race of aliens. It is believed by conspiracy theorist David Icke that the race originates from the Alpha Draconis star system and are suspected of hiding in underground bunkers beneath the surface of the Earth. This race is also referred to as the Anunnaki. You could also refer to our Dulce Air Force Base episode. I don't know if they were the Anunnaki, but they were an underground race of aliens.
And they were a reptilian.
Yes, they were. That's a good one.
And a knock, knock, knocky on heaven's door.
No. Don't do that again.
Oh, it's been a long day. According to Wikipedia, the Anunnaki are a group of deities who appear in the mythological traditions of the ancient Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, and Babylonians, although the descriptions of how many Anunnaki there were and what role they fulfilled are inconsistent and often contradictory. In the earliest Sumerian writings, the Anunnaki are the most powerful deities in the Pantheon. In the Pantheon.
I'm going to leave every pantheon you just put in here.
I wish you'd go put some pantheons.
That's the beauty of doing podcasts and not YouTube.
Right?
I don't need any pantheons. I do what I want. You don't know me.
Oh, I do know you. No, really, she is wearing pants. It's cold. I got an alert on my phone yesterday for a freaking snow squall. I'm like, they're just making this stuff up now.
Yeah, Iowa doesn't have snow squalls. That's a first.
Well, now we've got, what was it?
The
Derricos and snow squalls, and keep coming 2020.
2020, y'all.
Quammin. Did I just say Quammin?
You did. I was just going to let it happen and not say anything. It's a woman.
Anyway, They were descendants of the gods of the heavens and the goddess of earth. In Inanna's descent into the netherworld, the Anunnaki are portrayed as 7 judges who sit before the throne of the underworld.
So they're like the keepers of hell. They're at the beginning of hell, hanging out.
They judge you. Or maybe they decide which circle you go to, depending on what you believe.
Is this hell, or is it just the netherworld?
It says underworld.
Okay, yeah, so hell, I assume. Okay, also referred to as Draconians, Saurians, lizard people, and reptiloids. Reptiloids?
Reptiloids!
Like graboids. Remember Bert from Tremors? And he named them the graboids?
The graboids?
Yeah.
That wasn't Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, I know. I was mixing up Dan Aykroyd from Ghostbusters with Bert from Tremors. It's logical. They're so similar.
I can name one very specific distinguished mustache that says it's not Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
I was partial to Jamie Kennedy.
What?
And the subsequent Tremors that were terrible.
They suddenly sprouted wings and started flying, which was awful. They could have just made like 8 more Tremors movies exactly like the one with Kevin Bacon. Where they just stayed underground.
I love Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon was good.
I don't give a shit what he's doing.
Like, Kevin Bacon does not get the play he deserves. He's much like Leo DiCaprio.
Right?
Yeah. We could just go on and on.
Oh my gosh, would you please stop going on and on? Tell me about the lizard people.
This is why we get those bad reviews.
Goddamn.
They're like, we like the banter, but not all that banter. So we are talking about reptoids. That's a real thing in this episode. Reptiloids. So we've got reptilians, also referred to as draconians, saurians, lizard people, and reptiloids. Thousands of years ago, the reptilian beings from the constellations Orion, Sirius, and Draco.
Thus, the alternative names.
Oh, from the origin areas.
Syrians from Sirius.
Yeah.
And Draconians
from Draco.
My father will hear about this.
So they intervened on planet Earth, and they started interfering with humans through the manipulation of DNA. And by doing this, they established fundamental reptilian genetics within the human brain. It looks like it's believed that the first reptilian human breeding program, there's a reptilian human breeding program? Anyway.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Yeah. Don't do crack.
Or your pet lizard.
Don't. Stop. Stop. Inappropriate.
Save the iguanas.
Stop it. Things are going awry.
They have gone awry.
So this first reptilian human breeding program, it took place 200 to 300,000 years ago. And this is probably around the time of the creation of Adam himself. The most recent reptilian human breeding project having taken place 7,000 years ago, the hybrids of which are more Anunnaki than human, and they currently control the world. No big deal. Not only are these beings believed to be from another planet, but from an entirely different dimension.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
The lower level of the 4th dimension, to be specific, which is the one closest to our physical world. From there, they're capable of affecting, or in essence, controlling our world. According to some physical traits which may indicate presence of this reptilian DNA are as follows.
First and foremost, the predominance of green or hazel eyes that change color like a chameleon, but also blue eyes, which are the second most common color eyes in the world, belonging to somewhere between 8 to 10% of Earth humans.
I have blue eyes.
Only 5% of people in the world can boast having hazel eyes, and 2% have green eyes. Sometimes I have green eyes, and sometimes I have gray eyes. The most common eye color on this earth is brown. Around 70% of humans on Earth have this eye color. And you know what they say? Brown eyes mean you're full of poop. 3% of Earth people have gray eyes, and 5% have amber eyes, and less than 1% of earthly humans have red or violet eyes. This color is typically associated with people who are born with albinism, and the lack of pigmentation causes the blood vessels to appear, giving the eyes a reddish hue. So, I suppose technically, both of us can be placed on the suspect list for reptilian hybrids, as Sarah has blue eyes, and I have green eyes, which sometimes appear to be gray. Dun dun dun. So both of us have blue-eyed children as well.
So people with brown eyes are safe, correct? Yeah. They're not thought to have any reptilian DNA.
No. Piercing eyes is also among the list of alien hybrid traits, so I'm just going to go ahead and toss it at the end of this category.
We also come from a long line of humans with another trait which is said to belong to reptile hybrids, true red or reddish hair. That's right, gingers. Worldwide, only 2% of people have red hair, with the highest concentrations being 13% in Scotland and 10% in Ireland. There are a lot of things that set redheads apart from the general population, which makes them seem even more suspicious, even more likely to have undergone genetic mutation as the result of reptilian intervention, like being more sensitive to pain because the gene mutation, MC1R, that causes red hair is on the same gene linked to pain receptors. Men with red hair are 54% less likely to develop prostate cancer than those with brown hair or blonde hair. And apparently they're more likely to attract bees. According to some studies, hey, I have a thing with bees. I'm not a man. I do have red hair, naturally.
You do have a lot of oddly numerous encounters with hostile bees.
So I get stung by a bee 2 to 3 times a year. Every summer. It's a normal thing. One time I got stung by a bee in my bed while I was asleep. A big giant, those big black bees, the diggers, you know? And upon speaking to other people about this is not normal. There are a lot of people that told me that they have been stung like once or twice in their entire lives by a bee, and I can't even count the amount of times I literally attract them. If there's one near me, it will land on me and sting me.
You remember that time you were getting stung on the face and it was dangling from your eyelash?
Yeah, and then I sat down on the ground to cry and one stung me on the ass. A second bee.
Oh, behave. One time I got attacked by a hive of bees and they were like dive bombing me, but I honestly think it was because I was with your daughter and I was like cradling her, hiding her under my body, taking literal bee bullets. Fought off the bees and then got in the car. It was terrible.
I mean, why'd you fight off the bees? Why didn't you just get in the car?
I punched a honeybee in the face.
You were just mad. Get in the car, I'm gonna fight. Fun factoid. A rumor related to red hair history is that apparently Hitler banned marriage between 2 redheads because he thought this union would lead to deviant offspring.
To be fair...
Yeah, I speak for the redhead population. I am their spokesperson. Just kidding, redheads, I'm really not. Unless you want me to be, because I totally will.
Well, having grown up in a house full of redheads, I can confirm.
It is recessive, I think.
Science confirms that.
Does it?
Correct. Blonde hair and red hair are recessive genes.
We didn't even use the Google. What about blue eyes?
They are recessive as well.
Really, my husband has brown eyes, and all 3 of my kids have blue eyes. I win. Something.
My daughter's other side of her family is primarily like Hawaiian, and she's blonde hair, blue eyes, and freckles.
And pasty.
I win.
Yeah, she definitely got that from you. Yeah, vampire.
I win.
I really thought your pastiness was just from literally never going outside, but I think it's more than that. It's inherent.
It's like I'm almost see-through.
You are see-through.
So also on this list of potential lizard-human hybrids are those who have bradycardia or a slow pulse rate and or low blood pressure. So we can be suspicious of endurance athletes and people born with congenital heart defects.
I feel like that would be natural, slow pulse rate or low blood pressure, because endurance athletes, they literally get that from running.
From being in shape.
Like if they weren't in shape, would their pulse rate still be nice and low?
Probably not if they lived on McDonald's.
So, is it the athletic ability that makes them all reptilian-y?
Maybe because they're hybrids is why they're good athletes.
Yep.
Superhuman.
I have the red hair, but I am not a good athlete.
No comment.
Those of the human race who have healthy or keen eyesight or hearing are also among those with potential alien or reptilian DNA. And we'll go ahead and include the presence of ESP into this category. Not ESPN, ESP. For those unfamiliar, according to Wikipedia, extrasensory perception, or ESP, is also called the sixth sense. So the sixth sense isn't seeing dead people. It's...
My breasts can tell when it's going to rain.
Well, they can tell when it's raining. This includes claimed reception of information not gained through recognized physical senses, but is sensed with the mind. There are multiple categories of ESP, which are telepathy, which is the ability to read another person's thoughts. Clairvoyance is the ability to see events or objects happening somewhere else. Precognition is ability to see the future. Retrocognition, the ability to see the distant past. And mediumship, the ability to channel dead spirits.
Psychometry, or the ability to read information about a person or place by touching a physical object, is also on that list. Professor J.B. Rhine of Duke University was actually among the first respected scientists to conduct research of a debatably paranormal nature in a university laboratory, and coined the phrase extrasensory perception, or ESP. Obviously, as far as, quote, evidence of alien DNA goes, this one is controversial as there are so many skeptics that would argue that this isn't a thing at all. But that's a whole other episode worth of discussion. So psychic dreams are also listed as a separate trait, but we're going to go ahead and toss it into this category as well for our discussion purposes. It kind of fits in nicely here, I think, the ESP stuff. Whether or not this applies to or includes the déjà vu phenomena is not really specified. And let's go ahead and add the ability to disrupt electrical appliances, I'm assuming with your mind, or telekinesis, not just the ability to unplug a toaster or push the off button on the remote.
The presence of an extra rib or vertebrae is another trait that is considered by believers of such phenomena to be a trait inherited by those whose DNA has been meddled with by this particular race of extraterrestrials.
I have this too.
Samantha has an extra rib, which is super weird. Your ribs are curved bones in place to protect the heart and lungs. You really felt the need to tell people what their ribs were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what they are. The average human has 12 pairs of ribs, which form your rib cage, and your vertebrae are your backbones. It sounds like an estimated 1 out of every 200 people are born with an extra rib, which is called a cervical rib. It is a congenital condition, one you are born with. Typically, this rib connects to the 7th cervical vertebrae in your neck, and some people, a cervical rib can be floating and have no connection at all. See, things you didn't know you wanted to know. You're so welcome.
I think my rib's at the bottom of the rib cage, not at the top.
I remember it being at the bottom and I thought it was a floating situation. I don't even know why I know that.
I have a floater. Yeah. I don't know about the floating thing.
I feel like I knew. Yeah.
Another category is UFO connections. Now, this one seems a little broad. Is this someone who has had a sighting or an abduction experience? And if so, does that mean that they had the experience because they have altered DNA? Or did they have the experience and then have their DNA altered? What are your thoughts on that? What do you think? Yes, you with the bangs. Has there been any cases that you're aware of somebody who claims to have a UFO experience and then has altered DNA or other things afterwards?
No, not that I know of.
On record?
But I don't know why that would have ever been tested as a result of an alien abduction.
I don't know why it wouldn't.
I would want to test it, but I think so many alien abduction stories don't get taken seriously enough to get tested.
That's probably true.
It's not like people with abduction stories get whisked off to labs or anything and don't remember it.
Well, they might in a military lab and then don't remember it.
But if their DNA was altered, they wouldn't tell us because they're like that.
And then if you hadn't had any blood work done ahead of time, then how would you know what to compare it to?
Yeah.
But you would think if it had some sort of a extraterrestrial alteration in your DNA, it would be something notable.
Like not human looking.
Yeah, like notably abnormal.
But no. Let's see if Travis Walton will volunteer.
Travis, we're calling you out.
Get that DNA tested and see if anything has changed.
So someone who experiences paranormal occurrences also makes this list. So perhaps this would go along with the whole extrasensory perception theory. You're more perceptive to the possibility of paranormal or more apt to see things that others can't, or perhaps it makes you more vulnerable to these occurrences. I'm not really sure either.
Those with a natural love of space and science are also considered to be people with potentially hybrid DNA. Does the presence of this extraterrestrial DNA make them predisposed to feel the universe calling them beyond the planet where they were born to exist?
Elon Musk, I'm talking to you, bae.
We could really debate and discuss on these topics all day, couldn't we? This category seems to me that it goes hand in hand with the next category, which is a sense of not belonging to the human race. Now, this too can go a million different directions. Psychiatrists have a heyday discussing this topic in a manner that has absolutely nothing to do with being an alien hybrid. For example, some people who have suffered serious physical emotional trauma can dissociate or turn off a part of themselves in order to avoid being damaged beyond repair, which unfortunately is one of the most common causes for this feeling. Those who have above average intelligence may experience thoughts and feelings that are more complex than what their friends or family discuss or describe to them, which makes media and culture feel distant and unrelatable. Then of course there's the possibility that you are a deviant variant of a human, missing something that most people have, like a sociopath or a savant. Then of course there's a possibility that straight up you are a mutant and have alien DNA.
I have demon blood inside me, Dean.
Yeah.
I do. It's true.
You don't. Actually, I don't know. There's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, when I made my demon deal on episode 34 of Supernatural, I got a crappy demon and he was supposed to make me a famous banjo player and he just reneged. So I cannot play the banjo.
Guess you can't trust a demon. I feel like you should have known that.
I feel like by the time I made it to episode 34 of Supernatural, I should have caught on by then. Sam and Dean didn't prepare me for this. And neither did Judy Blume.
Who's Judy Blume?
Author of preteen books.
Oh, yeah. Why were you reading that?
What 12-year-old girl didn't read Judy Blume?
I read Dean Koontz when I was 12. He was my favorite.
I was partial to Christopher Pike.
Yeah, Christopher Pike was good.
And R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein was okay.
Gershburps. Ooh, and I liked the Wayside school books.
I liked the scary books.
Mm-hmm.
I went through like this huge, long period where I was reading a lot about witches.
A lot. I still do.
I know a great deal about witchcraft at this point.
Perhaps you have some unexplained scars on your body. This is the last of these categories that we're going to list, but there were a few other things on the list that I kind of feel like fall into these categories that we also discussed, and I didn't want to get too redundant. Also, I don't want to end up getting into these discussion about individual traits and get way more off topic. I feel like at this point we've gone in just in depth enough. So let's get back to it, shall we? Reptilians! The race of reptile-like aliens is believed to have infiltrated the human population, but to what end? One such possibility is that they intend to enslave humanity. That doesn't sound like much fun to me at all.
No, it sounds terrifying. According to David Icke, there are two types of reptilians. There's full-blood and half-blood, which is, as it sounds, a crossbreed between humans and reptilians. According to theorists, the full-bloods are too few in number to achieve their endgame. Thus, the half-breeds are needed, but they remain under the control of the full-bloods, who remain at the top of the alien hierarchy. It is because of their low numbers that they must mask their identity and shapeshift into humans in order to influence the direction of global politics in their favor.
Okay, so now that you understand the gist of the subject on a global level, let's reel it back and talk America. I want to throw out there that a 2013 study showed that 4% of American voters believe in this idea. In case you were wondering, in 2013 that was about 12,556,562 voting Americans, which is honestly small potatoes compared to the 29% of Americans who believe aliens exist. 14% believe in Bigfoot, which is 43,947,966 Americans. 21% of Americans support the theory that a UFO crashed at Roswell, and 7%, or about 21,973,983 Americans, believe that the moon landing was fake.
A flag doesn't ripple in the vacuum of space.
According to that same article written in 2013 for The Atlantic by David Bump, the truth is out there. People and inquiring minds want to know.
Damn right it is, and damn right we want to.
I would love to repeat this poll and include a few more of our favorite so-called conspiracy theories. I would love for you all to tell us what you think about these, so send us a DM, PM, email, call or voicemail, send us a text, or whatever your preferred method of communication may be. I want to hear your theories.
And because we didn't say it at the beginning of the episode, our number is 641-812-2635 if you really wish to do so.
Call me maybe. You just got Jepsoned.
Unfortunately. So the concept of aliens among us is far from a new one. You mean we're not just introducing this?
It's news to me.
Close encounters of all kinds have been reported for decades. Ancient astronaut theorists would argue for much longer. Some speculate that it was in fact a reptilian being who met Eve in the Garden of Eden and convinced her to betray God by eating the forbidden fruit. Yes, I know it is controversial to say the least to contradict religious theories. However, compelling arguments in regard to the confusion between travelers from space and beings from the heavens. I don't think it would be anti-Bible to say that. I genuinely do think it would have been more of a confusion issue. Like, how would you interpret something that looked reptilian or snake-like in a garden?
Based on the current level of understanding and education of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see why they would say snake.
Or why you would think beings descending from the heavens rather than, because they have a complete lack of understanding of the planetary system at that point.
Yeah, and they don't have a lack of understanding about the concept of gods. So, of course, they would interpret that
and
as
fire
gods.
Chariots would, they wouldn't understand the lights.
Yeah.
White lights White lights.
Who turned on the light? Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Blinded by the light.
You're doing a lot of singing in this episode. Should we just get her a record deal? She's truly dropping beats. This is the Beat Lab.
This is the Beat Lab.
Now.
Take that to the bank and smoke it.
The Nile isn't just a river in Egypt, in Indonesia.
Georgia.
The thought has been tossed around by many theorists, including David Icke, that the Nephilim, or the fallen ones, which we did an entire episode about, of the Old Testament could be a descendant race infiltrating humanity. In some interpretations, the Nephilim are portrayed as giants, and in others, they are the sons of fallen angels, which interbred with humans while being worshipped as gods or demigods in many different historical cultures and religions.
Yup.
Yeah. Have you seen that dog?
Yeah.
You want some bacon?
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
Can I pet that dog?
And I gave it to the cat. No.
I love it. I could watch that little video over and over again and die laughing every single time.
This is the cutest.
It's great.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of the price of tea in China, in Chinese mythology, there is great reverence for the dragon, whom one might consider a reptilian creature. The jinn, whom we discussed in our Shadow People episode, were created by Allah, creatures of smokeless fire who can appear in a humanoid or animal form, even snake-like. The description of a reptilian or snake-like head is common in encounter stories. However, other aspects of appearance descriptions may vary, like skin color, which can range from red to brown or green and even white in some cases, which we did also talk about in the Dulce Air Force Base episode. But the same is true of earthly reptile species. Accounts can include descriptions of webbed hands along with sharp talons and 3 fingers. Some are described to have wings. Those ones drink Red Bull. The difference in appearance may signify a class or ranking system. Some speculate that the white-skinned being formed what would be the elite class. I feel like I'm walking into of course they think the white people are the elite ones, but...
Did you just go there? Because you shouldn't have.
I know. We'll edit that out.
No, we won't.
Oh, we will.
We're going to start a discussion.
God damn it, now I sound racist.
You got the racist. You caught it.
I'm really not, but people are very sensitive about
Well, that's what all
things.
racists say.
Right?
They're not racist.
No, that's not true.
No, that isn't true, actually.
Anyway, an important feature to make note of in relation to reptilians are the eyes, which are a telltale figure noted in many cases of witnessed shapeshifting.
Do you ever watch, though? I'm gonna say something, and I can't get on board. You ever see the videos that people put out, like the conspiracy videos where they show somebody like in a corporate meeting or a politician standing at a podium and they do the little eye blinky thing? Kind of like on Men in Black, where he does the eye blinky thing. And it literally looks like a camera flaw to me. I don't think it's real.
It depends. Some of the videos where their pupils go from being round to, like oblong or cat-like.
I don't know. I can't buy it yet. I have a hard time buying any videos, though, because I always feel like videos are too easily manipulated.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
The ancient Egyptians had the god Apep, who was depicted as an enormous serpent with tightly compressed coils to emphasize his huge size. Apep was known by many epithets, including the evil lizard, the encircler of the world, the enemy, and the serpent of rebirth. He was not necessarily worshipped in the way that other gods were, but he was definitely feared. Legend of Apep is that he led an army of demons that preyed on both the living and the dead. A ritual known as banishing Apep was conducted every year by the priest of Ra in order to banish him, in which an effigy of Apep would be taken into the temple, which was thought to hold all of the evil in the land. The effigy was then beaten, crushed, smeared with mud, and burned. Another such ritual involved the creation of a wax model of the serpent, which was ritually dismembered.
How do you dismember a snake?
I'm not going to ask a lot of questions. I'm just going to...
A snake.
Yep. And the burning of a drawing of the snake. The Book of Apophis is a collection of magical spells which were supposed to repel or contain the evil of the evil lizard. So I'm thinking we need to get a hold of this book and test it out on a few certain politicians that are suspected of being reptilians in meat suits.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
It's coming.
This whole situation has made its way into mainstream conversation in recent years. I feel like more so now with the discussion of Dr. Stella Emanuel from Houston, who on her viral video talking about the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine, in which she made the claim, quote, "Nobody needs to get sick. This virus has a cure. It's called hydroxychloroquine," in regard to the COVID-19 pandemic. She stated that she had treated 250 patients with the medicine, including those with serious pre-existing conditions, and all of those patients had survived, claiming that hydroxychloroquine was so potent that it made mask wearing and lockdowns entirely unnecessary. Now, I feel like there was some promise with that medicine, but I don't support the toting of anything as a miracle cure. Not that that's really relevant, because you don't care about my opinion, but the reason that this video was such a big deal is that it was shared by the President of the United States and contained some other controversial statements made by the doctor. My assumption is that the President shared the video without actually watching it.
That wouldn't be like him.
But the statements in that video included that tormenting spirits routinely have astral sex with women, which in turn causes gynecological problems, marital distress, miscarriages, and more.
I can see how it would. I mean, that doesn't seem non-factual, right? I mean, a girl could get a mean yeast infection from astral
doing
spirits.
It with a daddy.
Well, they're not. It sounds like necrophilia, but I don't think that's what they mean.
No.
Let's just move on. This conversation got super awkward. Okay.
Sorry.
Don't call them deadies.
Daddies. Sorry if that was an offensive term, ghosts.
Or dead people.
Or people who are astral projecting to rape people, because that's not cool.
Don't do that.
Stop doing that.
That's a super gross reason to astral project.
So, I mean, though, if you think about the concept of... No, never mind. I'm thinking like, how do you get ghost herpes?
That's not a real thing, Sam.
Well, they're talking about getting like STDs and diseases from demons.
You know that whole concept was like one of those situations where some lady got the syphilis and then her husband was like, "How did this happen?" And she's like, "It had to have been a ghost.
Incubus.
It had to have been." And then he was just like, "Oh yeah, that's probably true."
He probably should have just gone with the dirty toilet seat excuse.
Yeah, which is not real for anyone who has ever heard that one. That's not a thing at all.
Please continue.
We're going to break up so many marriages. Okay. In the same video, she addresses the use of alien DNA to treat sick people.
You know, I'm not sure if it's the same video or in another video, but the same doctor.
Same doctor, possibly separate video. She addresses the use of alien DNA to treat sick people, which apparently results in human beings mixing with demons, according to her. So digging deeper into her past and association with a religious group called Firepower Ministries, Emanuel is quoted in a 2015 video as stating, quote, "There are people ruling this nation that are not even human," describing them as reptilian spirits, who are half human and half ET. So there's that. I mean, she might just know more than the rest of us. And you know, it's easy for the media and other reptilians to make her sound like a lunatic in order to keep their secret from coming out into the open, you know? After learning about her other viewpoints, the president said of his promotion of her video that he thought her voice was an important voice, but I know nothing about her, which is what leads me to believe that he saw a headline of a doctor promoting the medicine that he believed in, and he shared the video on Twitter without really listening or researching. We all make mistakes, right? But also, I think he probably knows more about the reptilians too. Either way, like a lot of other non-mainstream news, the video has been removed by YouTube and Facebook, citing misinformation as the reason. I'm not saying it's aliens, but Mark Zuckerberg might be one. Cough, cough. So who really are these people in power who are believed to be aliens in disguise or hybrids? Well, there's quite a distinguished list.
To begin from the tippy top of the elite, we have the Queen of England herself, Elizabeth II.
She would be at the tippy top.
She is the tippy top. Is it possible that the royal bloodlines are interbred so closely to protect the integrity of their alien god blood?
Yes.
I did see a pretty convincing video of the queen in which her eye appears to be really wonky, like she couldn't control the shapeshift. Is it real? Is it fake? Who knows? Google it.
Now, only a week ago I had a severe allergic reaction on my face and my eye was also wonky.
No, it looked like her eye was giant and black.
Oh, it wasn't completely swollen shut.
No. Of course, with the Queen being a reptilian, the Duke of Edinburgh and other members of the royal family must also be. I'm pretty suspicious myself, but being in the public eye, the royal family is subject of many rumors, like the one alleging that Prince Harry married Meghan Markle to have American children so Britain can regain power over America.
Okay, Prince Harry is lucky to have Meghan Markle. She is amazing. I just want to throw that out there. I love her.
That's a controversial statement.
Haven't you ever seen Suits? It's so good. Rachel is my favorite character. Meghan Markle, tweet me.
Or that Prince Charles is related to Vlad the Impaler, OG Dracula, and is thus a vampire himself. An apparently viable theory considering a disease called porphyria. I know what it is.
Are
I
you?
just can't spit it out. Porphyria is apparently a thing in the royal family and is an iron deficiency disease which makes their skin sensitive to sunlight. What?
Like a vampire.
Meghan Markle might be a sleeper agent for the U.S. government. Queen Victoria's son was also Jack the Ripper. Maybe Jack the Reptilian.
Nah.
Ever think of that? Because you lack imagination.
You ever watch South Park? Imagination. I take it no.
I watched South Park, yes.
Hold on. U.S. President George W. Bush and his father, the former president, George Bush, are also suspected to be descended from altered DNA. There's a video from CNN which has been shown trying to prove that W is a shape-shifting lizard man, but we personally didn't see it. But that doesn't mean he's not. You never know.
Henry Kissinger is also on the list. For those who aren't aware of Kissinger, he was National Security Advisor to JFK. Now, this gets me, as there are so many articles and discussions about how anyone who speaks out about the secrets of the government is silenced immediately. And who do we know who was murdered mysteriously? John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
In fact, his very last speech before his death lay bare his opinions on secret societies within the government, stating, quote, "The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence." So it was pretty clear that Kennedy condemned secret societies, and he got shot in the head. Which brings us to our next reptilian power couple. Hashtag sorry not sorry.
Bill and Hillary. Yes, we know. There's a very significant amount of conspiracy rumors which involve the Clinton family. But why?
Why?
Why indeed? Why have they been linked to rumors revolving around shape-shifting lizards, pedophiles, and child trafficking? There are plenty of families in the spotlight who don't garner such attention. Maybe there's something to it. And before you sigh at us thinking that our political colors are showing, guess again, because Donald Trump is also on the list. Conspiracy theorists suspect that Trump might be an immortal and contracted COVID-19 in an attempt to shed his mortal flesh and shapeshift into something else. So there's that.
And also, Baron Trump is a time traveler.
Hey, did you see that book?
Yes.
That is some interesting
I
shit.
stand by it.
We should do a podcast episode on that.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a partially written time traveling podcast episode. We may just include the entire Baron Trump story.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So the Rothschilds family, who you've heard us discuss in our QAnon episode, also falls into this theory, obtaining power through wealth and maintaining it through arranged marriage and interbreeding with their reptilian bloodlines as they work towards the ultimate goal of the NWO, along with Elon Musk. Et tu, Elon?
Don't know.
Is SpaceX really just a front so our boy can have his own space transportation for when he's ready to go home? Elvis didn't die. He just went home.
I just want to say, first of all, you're always including me in this love for Elon Musk by saying we, and I don't really like Elon.
There's a pig in my pocket.
He's all yours.
Whee!
He's kind of douchey.
I like him.
Watch videos.
I do. All the videos.
Do you?
I like them.
Wow. We are different in that aspect.
I feel like even if Elon is an alien, though, his mission is more to help humanity than destroy it. Why else would he be pouring billions of dollars into a secret master plan to eliminate fossil fuels-dependent transportation, reduce global emissions, and prevent a catastrophic warming of the planet?
But not really, because his stupid cars still have to run on fossil fuels. They are electric. They are electric cars. And the batteries are extremely harmful to the environment and take a lot of material to make. They're extremely wasteful. Sorry, that's my rant.
He's been quoted as saying that he would like to retire to Mars and die there. Maybe he just doesn't want us to be suspicious when he decides to go back to his home planet. And while we're at it, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg.
Let's do.
Chief executive of Facebook. He hosted a Q&A town hall on Facebook Live video streaming and was asked, "Mark, are the allegations true that you're secretly a lizard?" To which he responded, "I'm gonna have to go with a no on that." He licked his lips and continued, "I'm not a lizard."
That's what all the lizards say.
Read the next paragraph.
Oh. Aha! That's just what a lizard who didn't want you to know who he was a lizard would say. Oh, Sam already wrote that exact line. So much for my improv.
Busted, bro.
Kind of like how former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld did not state for the record whether or not he is a lizard person. Cannot confirm or deny. Highly suspicious.
But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still.
Nice try, Zuck.
Well, I am human still.
I was human. I mean, I am human.
I think you could call that a reptiloid slip.
Is that a play on Freudian slip? Is that what you're doing?
What else would I be doing?
I don't know. Struck me funny.
What else could I possibly mean?
You don't have to get so mad.
Well, jeez.
God damn it.
All right. Okay, so you guys definitely need to hit up the YouTube and search for alien shapeshifters caught on camera. According to David Icke, in the late 90s, people would report to him that they had seen people changing into a non-human form, or shapeshifting, typically, according to Icke, into what appeared to be, quote, a scaly humanoid with reptilian rather than humanoid eyes.
In The Biggest Secret, a book written by David Icke in 1999, his theory that many prominent figures in the modern world, being descendants of the Anunnaki, were brought to light in another of his published works, The Human Race, Get Off Your Knees, The Lion Sleeps No More, which was released in 2012. He identified the moon as well as Saturn as sources of holographic experiences, which are broadcast by the reptilian humanoids, which are interpreted by the humans on Earth as reality. So those are just holograms? Pretending? I don't believe it.
You know, I was gonna say this, it gets outlandish and downright ridiculous.
I mean, at this point, we've talked about several things that are outlandish, and I believe in some weird shit.
Y'all know me, still the same old G, and I ain't low key.
No, you're not.
I'm hated by all these lizards.
Mm-hmm.
With their
I feel like they don't know about us.
Scales. I don't know.
What?
Dr. Dre. It's Dre Day.
I'm sure they know. This race is alternatively known as the Archons, an interdimensional race of reptilian beings that have infiltrated the human race on Earth with the mission of preventing humanity from reaching its true potential. So they're keeping us down.
Always keeping the man down.
So we've kind of discussed some of the individuals that have been named as reptilians in disguise. So let's talk about their mission here on Earth and how they're accomplishing it. Which brings us to, dun dun dun, the Babylonian Brotherhood.
You've already picked up that this brotherhood is rumored to include the British royal family. Most of the European aristocracy. I know.
The fuck?
I was going to say aristocrats. Aristocracy.
No. Big no.
Aristocracy.
We're getting there. That's good.
Aristocracy. Various global power brokers, celebrities, and politicians. Note that I left out all the Hollywood celebrities that are thought to be lizard people. I didn't want to get into that because it's a lot.
Well, it's the Democrats.
Nope.
Oh, they're not?
We're not
people?
Political.
I don't believe it. Everything's political right now.
Nope, we're not political.
Oh, like we're not political.
We're not going to blame the Democrats on our podcast for anything.
You cannot blame the Democrats.
So, together, this global elite controls the media, science, religion, the internet, not the interwebs.
Actually, I think the internet is wholly evil. Like,
Holy.
Humanity has only declined since its arrival.
I agree. It's literally the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, and smartphones are devices of the devil.
Anyway, all governments as well, and they are referred to by David Icke as the prison wardens of Earth, working towards a microchipped population, a singular world government, and a global Orwellian fascist state, which most of us have heard referred to as the New World Order, or NWO.
No one calls it NWO.
NWA.
Those who follow this ideology hail the establishment of the New World Order, or NWO as Sam likes to refer to it, as the culmination of history's progress. How is that? Alleging the involvement of many influential historical figures as being part of the cabal, which operates through many organizational fronts in an effort to orchestrate significant political and financial events ranging from economic crisis to the implementation of controversial policies at national and international levels in an ongoing effort to achieve total world domination. The control of the population is maintained through the control of needed resources like food and water, creating dependence on pharmaceuticals and other drugs, and the all-over dumbing down of the population. While saying the broad concept out loud does make you sound a little over the edge, following the trail of small-scale incidents and people involved can draw you in and make you say,
I say, all day long.
I say, I knew it, all day long.
All the GD day.
Aha! Aha! It's similar to that. It's random ahas throughout the day.
All day.
All day long. I knew it.
I'm putting my shoes on. Aha! I got you. Nike.
How we live our lives. Very suspicious and on our toes. You're not going to get anything past us.
Literally on our toes. The Nike swoosh. We know.
You bastards.
Save the children. So we have to do it. We have to.
Do what?
We have to bring the Illuminati into this.
Well, duh.
The Order of the Illuminati was a German-originated Enlightenment age secret society which advocated for free thought, secularism, liberalism, republicanism, and gender equality. See, when you say it that way, it doesn't sound all that bad, does it?
It actually sounds pretty good.
Right?
Like, why are we not doing that?
So, members were recruited from the German Masonic lodges who sought to teach rationalism through mystery schools, but was infiltrated, broken up, and suppressed by the government in 1785, but has resurfaced as the dark face of the New World Order.
Like, that entire paragraph, you said it in a very ominous tone. Like, you were really, like, telling it.
You can't talk about being infiltrated
Preach.
without being dramatic. 1.21 gigawatts.
Doc Brown. What's a gigawatt, by the way? He says gigawatt.
No, he says gigawatt because it should be gigawatt.
Marty, I'm sorry, but the only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
God damn it.
Just as I suspected.
Moving on, because I was wrong and I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then we have the Bilderberg Group, which has been gathering in secret since 1954 to discuss everything from the rise and fall of communism to nuclear warfare to cybersecurity. According to a Time magazine article, attendees since its beginning have included Bill Clinton in 1991 before he was president of the U.S., Tony Blair in 1993 before he became the British Prime Minister, and former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Well. Also, the Manhattan Chief Executive David Rockefeller and the current British Prime Minister. So, why are those who are involved in the government organizations meeting in secret outside of these government organizations to discuss alien business?
Alien business.
I call to order the secret meeting of the cabal. Planning surprise birthday parties? What? Okay. In the wise words of Lil Wayne. Who was it?
Lil Jon.
Because Little John's from Robin Hood.
Lil. It's Lil John, not Little John. Little John, the best man of the wood.
Yeah.
It's Lil Jon. Okay. I sounded more like Harry Carey than Little John.
We're not good at this.
If you were a hot dog.
Yeah! What? Okay!
What? You're a hot dog.
I'm also
Will
leaving
you
that.
eat yourself?
In the world of sports, Mike Tyson bit a man's ear off. I don't know what all the hoopla was about. I've actually bit a man's ear off on several occasions. And I'm not proud of it, but it helped me out of many a jam.
Okay. Notes or minutes of the meeting aren't taken either, which makes me question even more what the heck happens behind those closed doors, huh? What's going on?
What you doing?
I just want to point out, it's really late. We're tired.
We are tired.
Tired of the bullshit.
On the flip side of all this, there is an American-based political group called the Reptilian Resistance Movement United, which apparently wages a violent declaration of war. I said declaration.
Yeah, you did.
That was a Freudian slip, my friend.
Good example. Prime example.
Wages a violent declaration of war against the evil reptilian alien hybrids that they believe have infiltrated even the highest levels, not only of the American government, but of governing bodies worldwide. The link to their website is in our works cited in the episode description if you want to check it out. But we'll give you the rundown. I had to include it because it's so cringy.
Is it? We're going
Read
to find
it.
out. On their website, the introduction page of their website includes the following statements. Quote, "We are a conservative, political, and media watchdog activist organization focused on preserving family values on a global scale and upholding the Constitution of the United States of America and the human rights of the global society."
I want to point out to you that the only punctuation in this paragraph are ones that I inserted so we could take breaths because they literally do not believe in it at all.
Okay. The very essence of the global resistance is that each person can act individually yet simultaneously, be in concert with others who are fighting for the same cause. The resistance lives within each one of us. Sounds unappealing. In its entirety, the spirit of the resistance is felt and understood by all who have accepted it or who have seeked it also. Which is not
Grammatically correct.
It's not good English. Resistance is needed to rebuild strength. Know the truth. In knowing, you become fearless. Rise great people of freedom, and fearless, you become invincible, which makes no sense.
What?
Global revolution is at hand. There is
Okay.
Okay. There is the reptilian, demon, human hybrids of our government leaders appearing in videos all over the planet in many counties.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be countries.
Is that them or you?
That's them.
Okay, and in many different counties, which is probably supposed to be countries. They are now revealing their true identities. Who is it?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
I am a human. I mean, Bill, I guess.
Kinda. We have become much more aware of these serpents. Also, as our technology has advanced, here are our leaders in their true forms. The time has come to expose these serpents. We are now awake to the truth. Resistance becomes duty. It is time we start meeting oppression with resistance. And resist we will. We will not be silenced. We will not obey.
Okay, you're gonna have to do the Sarah the Snake thing.
No, I'm not.
Yep. You know, really, I'll give it to him.
It's
Resist we shall, right? Well, I did a thing today. I bought a buffalo.
Yeah.
I said, I have a confession to make. Here it comes.
He literally just moved here yesterday or something.
I had to confess that I bought a random buffalo. And it's not really random, though, because he's a taxidermist. So it's not really that random to buy him, you know, the dead carcass of a buffalo.
It's not weird, right?
Merry Christmas! It was supposed to be a Christmas present, but I couldn't hide it. There's nothing I could do to hide a buffalo. Where do you put a whole buffalo? Well, most of a buffalo.
I'm going to include also that they are way freaking bigger than you think. Unless you have been up close.
And aggressive.
They're terrifying. I've seen the YouTube videos of what happens to people when they get too close to a video. Woman at Sturgis.
Right? I was going to say, a woman in South Dakota, we're calling you out. Don't mess with the buffalo.
I mean, like, why would you? I don't know. Drunk.
A drunka tadonka.
She had the drunk.
She had the drunk. And then she had the buffalo horn.
Right in her butt. Took her pants off.
You mess with the bull, my friend.
It would be the ultimate, most embarrassing thing that happened at a party story. I mean, if you were trying to be cool in front of all your drunk friends at a party and you walk up to a buffalo and it grabs you by the pants and throws you around so much that they straight come off your body.
So I enjoy when we can address these topics on a personal level. And another group that I find has been associated with the idea of the elite reptilian humanoids controlling the fate of the world is the Freemasons. While we ourselves are not Freemasons, you know, because we're girls.
They won't let us in.
While we ourselves are not Freemasons, we have familial connections going way back, and while we were all very disappointed to learn that their joining of this historically famous fraternity would not lead to an action-packed adventure in the name of protecting the Declaration of Independence,
Yeah, I'm really pissed he has not brought that back yet.
Nicolas Cage really led us astray there. We are also unaware of any nefarious reptilian agenda either. Then again, we aren't the wealthy elite top of the order high-ranking people either, so you guess you can take that for what it is.
What do you believe? Are you of a mind that there's a race of alien shapeshifters and human hybrids out there that can control the general human population by making us dumber, slower, and weaker, and therefore more compliant? Are we all, in fact, descendants of the OG hybrids? In the early stages of development, after all, human embryos do look a lot like reptiles, and the parts of our brain that control the most primal functions and instincts is referred to as the reptilian brain because it is made of the same types of structures that the reptilian brain consists of, the brainstem and the cerebellum.
Did you ever hear people use the phrase, my lizard brain?
No. Maybe it's much more simple than we originally evolved from reptiles because they were the first animals to exist on the earth. That being the case, we would naturally have body parts that are similar to theirs.
According to a 2016 article by PBS, scientists have actually discovered a link between the hair of mammals, the feathers of birds, and the scales of reptiles, which suggests that all of these animals, including humans, descended from a single reptilian ancestor approximately 320 million years ago. Other traits that humans have in common is that, like bird and reptile eggs have a yolk sac which provides embryos with the nutrients, humans have the embryonic sac. Yolk sacs developed about 300 million years ago when the first amphibians moved onto land. Like the amniotic sac, it prevented their eggs from drying out. Reptiles also evolved a new kind of skin to deal with the dry air on land, which is a watertight barrier of dead skin cells atop a layer of fresh, living cells. Humans have inherited that same layering system. A burrowing reptile that lived 245 million years ago developed whiskers so it could feel around in the dark. Within the next 20 million years, give or take, animals began evolving to be hairier and hairier, and the first mammals appeared. Humans have 3 bones in our middle ear, which help amplify sound. Strangely, 2 of those bones are part of a reptile's jaw. Fossil records indicate that those 2 jawbones started receding back into ancient reptiles' heads over 200 million years ago, and now they're in our ears. They're in our inner ears. One specific gene called EDA is what links us to our ancient reptile ancestors. According to our sources, this gene controls what our teeth look like and how many we have, how hairy, soft, and sweaty our skin is. Mutations to EDA in ancient reptiles is how we have inherited or evolved our bodies into what they are today. A 2009 article from Gladstone Institutes discusses the discovery of evidence by scientists regarding the evolution of the 4-chambered human heart, linking it with the development of hearts in turtles and other reptiles, specifically how a protein that turns on genes is involved in the formation of the heart in turtles, lizards, and humans alike.
With all of the cool evolutionary traits we have that separate us from the reptiles from whence we may have possibly came, there are a lot of ways that we differ, obviously. And whether we did evolve naturally from earthly reptiles as we know them, or have been engineered by an alien race of humanoid reptiles who combined our DNA with theirs in an effort to control and enslave us, our human halves have some serious problems if this theory is real. Most importantly, the fact that we were being ant-farmed by lizards who control the resources we need to survive, but also have the ability to manipulate our ability to survive in our own natural environment. Hear me out on this other aspect of this theory. Governments, or whoever else could be engaged in a secret plot that adds toxic chemicals to the atmosphere from aircraft. Yes, ma'am, we're going there. Chemtrails. Subscribers to these theories believe in many different possible motivations, which include sterilization, reduction of life expectancy, mind and weather control, or slowly making an environment which is more habitable for the reptilian population and less so for the inferior slave people, humans.
In the words of Edward Cullen, ask me the most basic question. What do we eat? Well, if Edward Cullen were a reptilian, the answer to that question may still be relatively similar. According to an interview by Alex Collier, the Draconians are a carnivorous race who eat humans, not dead humans, but a fresh kill, and their preference is children. This theory is the controversial explanation behind the prevalence of missing children and human trafficking in the world. Subscribers to this theory link this to the rumors of pedophilia, sacrifice, and the consumption of adrenochrome among the elite population. Yes, I know this is a controversial subject. We're not going to go into it much. We're just throwing it out there because it's part of this theory.
You know, it kind of sucks that we didn't get any of the cool traits like regrowing limbs and changing color of our skin to our environment or sharp teeth. But there is some legit science behind the lizard-human DNA theory. Although some of the information in the middle might be a little misguided, or maybe not, who knows? You'll have to follow the evidence trail and decide for yourself.
That being said, that's the end of this week's episode of BF for B. You're welcome for finally ending it. Thanks for listening in. If you don't already follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, start doing it.
Yes, do.
Do the things.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to us about anything at all, call our voicemail number or send us a text.
Literally anything.
Anything.
We're very conversational.
I want to hear about your day.
Me too. Let us know.
I don't want to hear any more about the zombie butts from Uranus. Email us at bigfootforbreakfast@outlook.com or on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We love to hear from you for any reason at all. I think we've made our point. Thanks again for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whichever app you're listening from. It really does help us a lot.
Come at me, bro.